Okay, Vic, I want you to work with me on this. Give me a reason why you are continuing. Because as of right now, I would rather do the following: watch Air and cry my eyes out, read 7 Days of Sunny June, or ABC's A Fall on Equestria. Both are really more interesting than you. So, come on, Vic. Tell me why you still exist. Part 1. The morning dawned crisp and cool. Sunset knew it wouldn't last. Summer was upon them and the days heated quickly. She stood up and opened the curtains, stretching her arms behind above her head. The scene outside was a little strange to her, but had so far always given her a thrill of intrigue. Looking back to the bedroom, she noticed the girl still lying in the shaded part of the bed. Sunset always kept the curtains partially closed so not as to wake her. Glancing at the clock on the wall, she moved around the bed in the direction of the kitchen. Please tell me she was naked. Several important changes had occurred in the running of Sunset and Sonata's lives. Following the fundraising concert, Ari's operation had gone ahead as planned and had been declared a complete success. During her recovery time, still enrolled at school, Principal Celestia and Principal Luna had been busy doing their part for Aria, recommending her to a physical rehabilitation clinic to provide temporary housing and skill workshop. To everyone's utter surprise, Sunset's small revenge on Haitai for his fight against Sonata in the art gallery had become an opportunity beyond anything anyone had imagined. Thanks to the secretive nature by which Sonata had concealed the nature of her project, even Sunset had not guessed at its full and glorious extent. Since then, Haitoi had been commissioning pieces for both his personal collection and for the city gallery, which now had a portion of the wall devoted entirely to Sonata's work. The boon from his pictures was neither small nor difficult to understand. The coming event was far more than meets the eye, Hoy explained. He was sitting in a small apartment as though it was the expected place to buy him. The fairs the locals have termed it is attracted the eye of the capital, and many important persons will be arriving to view everything within. I am not exaggerating when I say this, he said in low, serious mumbles. The very future of the fashion world may decide on this night, and you will be a part of that. Your paintings will inspire, be a part of the lady's design, and talk at the capital. He gazed fiercely at Sanaa over his glasses, making her incredibly nervous. Oh, and should I mention, I also gave a record contract to the Rainbooms, and also gave a ton of money to Sunset just because. So, some big shots are coming to see this fair, Sunset said, shrugging. She was trying to put Sonata a little at ease. Hoy spotted. Big shots, he exclaimed. He put a hand on his head so that once he had said pained him. This harm does not do to them close to a third of the justice these people deserve. In all honesty, Sunset still found Hoy very tiresome. But he had to admit, to be at the very least, he probably knew what he was talking about. Hoy was a rich man, a very influential one. Though his patrons alone, Sonata had been risen to local fame. Paintings done by her hung in Hoy's own residence in the city art gallery, and Sonata and Sunset's own place of residence, even Caroline High, where Sonata had donated one of her early works. Sunset strolled about the kitchen, still appreciating the wide space and full-size cooker, as she made fried eggs and bacon. It was then beginning to fit in through the window. First signs of her life outside her home sounded outside. Hey, Rainbow, Sunset called out her window. Sup, Sunset? Rainbow waved as he jogged by. Both girls knew the routine by now. Sunset would take careful aim, and at the opportune moment knew all too well for several weeks of practice, threw the toast with unerring aim. Rainbow led forward down the hill, casting the toast expertly between her teeth. Oof, she grunted, giving a thumbs up as she darted down the slope past Sunset's house. Meanwhile, Legendbringer is wondering why he is not reading a Rama fic. What's that, Rainbow? Came a voice from behind Sunset's back. Her dad won't buy whole grain bread, Sunset explained. Eggs and toast good for you? I make bacon. If you mean it, it could be soggy bread or cereal, I still eat it. Sonata giggled, kissing Sunset on the cheek. You wounded me, dear. Sunset smart, setting a plate in front of her and sitting down opposite her. Here, I thought you liked my cooking. See, that's the thing, Sonata said seriously, waving a bit of eggs on her fork. I both love you and your cooking. She stretched out both arms, as unable to comprehend the whole thing. It's like a game my egg and eat it too. You know how it said love cake. Is that a euphemism? Sunset did. Sunset enjoyed the cake too, but nowhere near as much as Sonata and Pinky. They are cake lovers in a realm beyond a normal love of cake, and in another twist of cosmic black humor, neither of them gained much weight. What Sunset intuitively knew couldn't be a case of herself she ever tried it. So, what do you want to do when we're out today? Sunset asked Superior Coffee. I don't know, Sonata sighed, kicking her feet under the table. I'm supposed to be doing those paintings for the fair. Oh yeah? How's it coming? Sonata's lip curled a little. Alright, I guess. That's not used to taking suggestions, you know. Sunset knew what she meant. As part of Hoity Toity's panic, there was no other word for it. About the creme de la creme of the capital coming to survey the work at the art fair, he had urged her to paint things that, to be perfectly honest, Sunset had never seen Sonata paint before. Periods, man! Oh, the fake must be pregnant. Yeah. I mean, it looked really good, Sunset said fairly. No, it doesn't, Sonata corrected her correctly. As part of their increased income, Sonata had followed through on her promise to buy a house. Not wanting to exceed themselves, Sonata and Sunset bought a house on the mountainside near to Rainbow's humble little abode. Like Rainbow's house, the building had an air of former grandness and generous size. Its rooms were all unusually high ceilinged, especially for the two girls who lived in Filthy Ritz's apartment complex. Owing to its relatively large size and presence of two residents, they had space for Sunset Simmer's office and Sonata's workshop, which actually was a spacious attic filled with large angled windows. Standing in the morning sunlight, observing several of Sonata's latest creations, Sunset tried to think of something that might have cheered Sonata up. The poor girl's looking morose. Why don't you just do the pictures you want to? Why might not even be to write about the big wigs you want to see? Maybe, Sonata said despondently. But this is the area of expertise. You wouldn't be writing us if you wasn't good at it. I suppose you have a point there, Sunset conceded. She gazed at the crease between Sonata's eyebrows for a moment or two, and then gave her shoulder a shake. Cheer up. Arya's visiting today. You get some inspiration later. This did seem to make Sonata happier. She smiled. Remember, she likes iced tea, not hot. That's one thing I could never forgive her for. Sunset sighed. She followed Sonata upstairs. Iced tea, indeed. She shivered in disgust. Problems? Thick. Iced tea, especially sweet tea, is a very precious gift. Don't waste it. Nevertheless, the meeting was cordial. Sonata met Arya on the bus down the road and helped her to her house. Hey, Arya, still sorry about the incline, Sonata said nervously. Yeah, well, Arya replied, grinning. It's easier to crush this in that damn chair. See what's faster than me up that hill, Sonata complained, breathing heavily. This place is gonna be the death of me. That's because you don't ever get out of the house, Sunset snickered. You are getting a little puzzy there, Arya teased, prying Sonata's mill. That's not funny, Sonata said in a dead-bent voice. I'm just remembering how much you like cake, Sunset said innocently. Oh, watch yourself, Missy, Sonata warned, poking Sunset in the chest. You'll be sleeping in your office tonight. Sunset raised both hands to the feet, smirking, as Arya stifled a laugh over her hand. Speaking of cake, Sunset began. Want some, Arya? Got some ginger loaf in the kitchen. Arya gave casual information, but Sunset could see the eagerness in a few of her mannerisms. A rehabilitation program, she knew, was heavy on healthy foods that had carbs, rather than sweets. While it's not exactly forbidden to have them, Arya had no job whilst in rehab, and couldn't be expected to be able to go out and buy her own. They said I'll be able to lose the crutches soon, Arya said excitedly. I only have to keep them now because they don't want me overexerting myself. She rolled her eyes and huffed. Typical Arya reaction. Sunset set down a large slice of ginger loaf and fork before her, and a significantly smaller pear in front of herself and Sonata. Arya bit into the cake, so she were eating the gods. Her tired face lit up in a disturbingly An angelic expression so far removed from anything either Sonata or Sunset and Magic could appear in Arya. The other girl stared. I'll have what she's having, Sonata said, taking a bite of her own cake. I never knew how much I miss sweets, Arya sighed drearily. I died without cake, Sonata said idly, casually sneaking a chunk of Arya's plate. Hey! Arya cried, making her stats for it. Sonata ate this chunk in one gulp and stuck out her tongue. Arya flushed. That was mine. Don't worry, we have more, Sunset said, repressing an urge to laugh as Arya leaned over and pulled Sonata's ponytail. So, are you okay with coming with us today? Arya made a dismissive gesture as Sunset set another slice of cake in front of her. Please, I'll be looping circles around both of you, she bragged. The sad thing, she was right. Arya's crutches didn't seem to impede her in the least, was able to ascend or descend stairs with a nonchalance that's not Sunset. She agreed wholeheartedly with Sunset as well as that Sonata should have simply paint what she wanted to paint if she was in a slump. This is what they tell us to do in rehab, she explained. If you get frustrated with something, you take a break and do what you want to do until you feel up to it again. What do you do? Sunset asked curiously. Leaning her left crutch, Arya strengthened the satchel she had and pulled out a notebook. I write mostly. For some reason, I've forgotten how much I used to like it. Sunset took the notebook and flipped through it. Her eyebrows started showing up into her fringe. The book was full of neat, orderly script, never-ending black lines of writing, with red and green inked corrections Arya had evidently made herself on every page. Wow, Sunset said openly, you write stories? Yeah, Arya said, looking a little proud of herself. When did you figure that out? Sunset asked, increasingly interested. Arya's smile faded. She frowned and stole the question were perplexing. I don't remember. Sunset stared at her, fairly surprised by this reaction. Yeah, Sonata said suddenly, sounding troubled as well. See with me in painting. Sonata, too, was frowning, as though struggling to remember something. It's like I liked painting a long time ago, but I just can't remember it. Sunset looked between the two girls, feeling as though she were missing something. Like, back in Equestria? Maybe, Arya said, rubbing her chin. It seemed so long ago. There, listen, does that sound interesting? No, actually, it really doesn't. This could just be a hobby you guys picked up on or something. It really doesn't. I feel like this main plot has ended. We're just spinning our wheels here. Mystery of their hidden towns was eventually given up on. You see, if the fake doesn't care, why should I? And the three of them made their way to the city via a taxi. I'll be glad when I can get rid of these things, Arya complained, tapping alongside Sunset Sonata. People stare at me. I never took you being afraid of crowds, Sunset commented. Never used to be before, Arya said. Maybe it was just being with Sonata and Dacia. I used to love having a crowd watching me. But now it's like they're all individuals rather than a single big thing with many voices. Sunset thought she understood what Arya meant. A performer herself, she knew the odd tips and tricks for overcoming stage fright. And one way of doing it was to remove the human aspect of the crowd from your mind. Imagining it as something that wasn't human, and therefore couldn't judge you, could help overcome the butterflies, or make them 10 times worse. It kind of depended. Despite having lived in the city for some time before, and after traveling to Baltimore, Arya had never seen much of the city herself, and so Sunset Sonata took on a general tour of the city's primary sites. It looks so weird, Arya commented, flying at City Hall. The rounded, oddly worldly appearance of which had long been a curiosity for the city compared to the many more classical public service buildings. I like it. It has oomph. What's oomph? You know, oomph. Razzmatazz. The city has it. Arya looked at Sunset for help. I think she means it has character, individuality, Sunset interpreted. Yeah. Why didn't you just say that? Still think it's weird. My dear. Oh no. Sunset groaned. So he turned around with Sonata and Arya, praying she misheard, for begging for not to be, but it was. Hoity-toity, silver hair agleam, red caveat delivering expressive color across his gray and blue chest, strode across the road, apparently leaving two people he was walking with on the other side. Dear, my burgeoning young prodigy, he said in his usual cultured tones. This guy again? Arya whispered to Sunset. He's Sanaa's patron, Sunset said, glaring at Hoyt, who was busily taking no notice of them. His silver ponytail flying elegantly behind him, and his purple glasses sparkling in the sunlight. He wrapped an arm around Sanaa's shoulders and began dragging her away. I simply must allow you to be two dear friends of mine, I assure you, he said in a more serious tone. They are simply dying to meet you. Yes, yes, he said, seeming to notice Sunset and Arya for the first time. Yes, my best talent scout, and whomever she calls a friend. You are welcome too. Come, come. Sunset and Arya looked at each other, then a little reluctantly followed him across the road. The two people he had left standing were talking to each other admirably, but stopped to smile benignly at the two new individuals. One was a tall, white-skinned man with elegant blue hair, tweaked mustache, and a monocle. He wore a simple but spontaneously clean black suit and bow tie, and had a look of effortlessly suave sophistication. The woman to his left was elegantly tall, slender woman with curves and outer eye places. She had long, pale pink hair that looked as though it could have been fashioned from a porcelain. A long, white dress equally as simple and slow-fitting as her companion's suit was to him, and purple eyes that seemed to be able to speak 100 different things at once. Ooh, woo! And Sunset wasn't mistaken. She thought the lady's eyes slid into her a little longer than everyone else's. I say, hoity-toity, old boy, what do we have here? The man said good-naturedly, scrutinizing him through his monocle. Might I have the honor of introducing? Hoity began, stretching out her neck arm. Sir Fancy Pants, and his companion, Lady Fleur de Lis. This is the next great artiste of the place today, the talented Sonata Dusk. Fancy Pants smiled and held out a hand. A pleasure to meet you, he said earnestly, sinking her hand with certainty. Hoity-toity told me some wonderful things about you. He does go on, the lady said with the faintest suggestive laugh in her voice, stretching out her hand as well. He's mentioned you a few times as well, Sonata said, faint color in her cheeks. Fancy Pants chuckled. Ha ha, so modest, he commented to the lady. Well, I look forward to seeing some of your work. I've actually come by today to see all the fuss he's been making about. I expect to be mightily impressed. Oh, you will, hoity-toity assured him. Sunset was not a cruel person anymore. She had to admit to herself that she liked the sight of hoity-toity being all nervous and eager to please. These two people were clearly important in some way to his work. She was tempted to do something to make his life just a little more difficult, but to fail to have it being nice to people. And the thought that she might harm Sonata's prospects by doing so stayed her hand. Hoity led both Fancy Pants and Sonata to the gallery, leaving the lady, Sunset, and Arya behind. They followed on. The lady, Sunset noticed, looking faintly amused. Standing opposite the city hall, Sunset supposed he could not have been surprised, and Hoyt spotting them. He and Fancy Pants had moved into the first room, where the entire wall had been devoted to Sonata's landscapes. Sonata watched nervously as hoity-toity pointed out particular pieces. And Fancy Pants nodded in apparent approval. Sonata managed to slip away during this time and slide back to where her friends and lady were standing. Hey, look, it's ready, she said, pointing to her right. Looking over, Sunset saw that Rarity was indeed there, standing alongside an eccentric-looking girl with a camera, whom Sunset recognized as Photo's Finish. Sunset snored to see Rarity's outfit, a modern French beret with a black, overly large square matching the skirt. Photo Finish sat next to her usual attire of black and white dress, and a pink-tinged glasses, when she stared impressively at the people through what they might look at print. Let's hope she doesn't fall for Fancy Pants too, Sunset whispered, rolling her eyes. It's the only reason I'm doing this, just so I can have a chance to try out my Photo Finish voice. Is that why I'm here? Is that why I'm here now? That's to do this. That's an example to do Photo Finish voice. Is that why I'm here? As the other two laughed at the inside joke, the lady gave a chuckle of her own. Sunset looked at her, feeling surprised that she would join in with the humor. She seemed to notice. It would be a great misfortune for her, she did, the lady said, smiling warmly. I am sorry. I don't think that we've been properly introduced, she said, proffering her hand. Sunset went to take it, but at the last moment the lady moved her own hand and grasped a hold of Sunset's fingers, as though she intended to kiss them. The ladies. Sunset simmered, Sunset replied, feeling a little hot on her collar. Is Fancy Pants here, She imagined the two must be married, or at least seeing each other. And that would be why Rarity must be unfortunate as he were to feel feelings for this man. Fleur laughed daintily at this. It was not uncontrolled, but faintly open enough. Oh, my dear, she said, her voice still trembling with mirth. She lowered her voice. Lassie Pants is a belated homosexual. Ladies and gentlemen, this may be the first feck in history to ever make Fancy Pants gay. Oh, Sunset said, understanding. Dear Lady raised Sunset's hand a little higher. Elegant smile widened a little. As am I, she continued. Sunset felt the heat rise in her cheeks. She wasn't sure if she wanted to try and interpret the meaning in the older lady's tone. At that moment, however, another hand raised up and plucked Sunset's from Fleur's. Taken, Sonata said firmly, directing a cold look at Fleur. Sunset avoided Sonata's eye, afraid to color in a still face. Fleur, on the other hand, simply laughed again. That same, yet open, controlled laugh. A hand to her mouth, looking at her best. So that's there, she said, her glaring purple eyes meeting Sonata's, burning with gentle one unflinchingly. If Sonata were looking at her that way, Sunset would have brought the subject and made her excuse to leave. How does a thing? She lowered her voice again. Is this an open relationship? I got no problem telling anyone, Sonata said defiantly. Fleur reached down and seized her clasped hands between her own. You two are just précieux, and you, the little artiste, so passionate. I hope that you never lose that fairness. She let go of her hands, but then put her hand to Sunset's burning cheek. You're looking for my fun, I hope, she said in a more serious tone. Capital life can be so detailed. Oh, no offense, my dear, but I think you're a little too young for me. It's unfortunate, really. She slid her hand from Sunset's face, her index finger tracing Sunset's jawbone to chin. With one last look at the three of them, she moved away to rejoin Fancy Pants. Wow, was Arya's only comment. As soon as Fancy Pants, Lady Toy, and Fleur had moved away to see more of the gallery, Sunset and company made a speedy exit. Sonata was still fuming, which seemed to only make Sunset feel a little more awkward. The whole experience had just been a blur of confusion, and what she had imagined to be hints and innuendos she didn't understand. The place on her face where Fleur had touched still tingled faintly. Arya, partly amused, partly confused, chose to regard the thing as something to be puzzled over, like a joke that didn't make sense. Come on, you're not angry, are you? Sunset asked Sonata. She was clearly angry. Sunset took her hand and gave it a squeeze. There's nothing to be angry about. It's not like she was serious or anything, she went on. Her own mortification, she felt that she was sort of trying to convince herself as much as Sonata. Luckily, Arya came to the rescue. She did say it was a joke, she reminded him. I can sort of see how it was. Twisted sense of humor, though. Very, Sonata grunted. All to say she looked slightly mollified. All in all, it's over now. Where are we going next? Don't know about you, but I'm hungry, Arya said. Like something to eat? The rest of the afternoon went by more amicably, with Sonata apparently forgetting about the encounter with Fleur for the most part. Sunset didn't think about it either, especially with Arya's continuing descriptions of life in rehab. I can't do anything, she groaned, as she elaborated on her main field attempts to find a skill in the rehab workshop. Why don't you write? What kind of career could I have doing that? That's like a safety net. Now you're just painting, Sonata said, shrugging. She bit into a sandwich with her mouth full of food. But we get by, don't we? Well, Arya, that's when you take a second job. You have one job to help keep your hobby going, and then after that, you go back and once you are successful enough, then you keep going. Like, oh, and it doesn't have to be a complicated one. Just find a simple job that you could just buzz off for a few hours, like a Barnes & Noble salesperson or something. Just whack off a few hours there, and then boom, you're done. I suppose, Arya said, looking faintly ill. Sonata sprayed the lettuce with flour wrap everywhere. You can always stay with us till you get on your feet, said offering. We have a guest bedroom. Arya refused to accept the offer outright. Sunset knew that she appreciated it, but was reluctant to send more help. She probably still felt guilty or regretful of her past actions. Sunset could understand that, and knew it wasn't worth to push the subject. I just asked Natasio if you could do anything in Applewood, Sonata asked. Didn't you write or something for shells and things? I think you're aiming kind of high there. If you don't aim high, you're only going to not hit the ground. This basically made sense. I'm terrible at those. What's going on? Where am I? The human universe. Sam was up at 22nd Street, 23rd Street, where Ian hunts. Sunset rolled off. Sonata settled down. Oh, good. She smiled, slurping around the iron fizzy. I don't know how you could stand living with her, Arya said, shaking her head. This seemed an odd thing for Arya to say in Sunset's opinion. Arya seemed to notice as well. We stayed out of each other's way when we could, when we were sirens. Not like we slept in the same bed or something. I do admit her snoring can be a little distracting. Hey! But she hasn't snored once since we started sleeping in the same bed. Arya sputtered, extending a gulp of Diet Coke over her nose. Not like that, Sunset hissed, covering her face and looking around to see if anyone was staring at him. Sonata laughed as Arya held a napkin up to her nose, grimacing as the drink burnt her sinuses. So all's right in the world. Are you coming to the fair, by the way? We got extra invites. Oh, you bet I'll be there. I'll be walking in too, except hobbling. I'm looking forward to seeing those fans' pains, she said to Sonata. Oh, God, can I read an Ava fix? Something! Sonata's good humor fans almost instantly. Yeah! Arya was too intent to drinking her coke that I was shooting up her nose again. Didn't notice the down Sonata's voice, but Sunset did. Don't worry, she said with a smile. It'll be fine.